Hey guys, what is going on? Today we're going to be doing 7 strategies to instantly become better at fighting games using common core rules from real fighting to implement into your gameplay and make sure you get instant results if you practice upon these, and then you improve in the future when you implement them and you learn how to use them at will. Without further ado, let's get into it. Your first rule is to be patient. As you can see here, I'm just waiting because I don't know what this guy has up his sleeve. I don't know if he's bad, I don't know if he's good. So what I'm doing is I'm just sitting back, I'm just waiting for him to tell me what he's really going to do, if he's really good or not. And as you can see, he's just doing this. You can't tell if he's good from doing this. So you want to sit back. Okay, he comes up here with a counter. That's telling me a little more about him. He's pretty smart. He wants me to do what he wants to do so he can capitalize on it. But as you can see here, I'm slowly starting to see, okay, so this guy isn't really that good because he's not really countering. He's de-vanishing. As you can see here, that definitely tells me something's wrong. So now I can start going in a little bit more and capitalizing on it. So your first rule is to always be patient and never rush into the fight, because rushing into the fight will always get you dominated. You have to form a game plan first. Forming a game plan is your best friend in a fight, because it's always going to tell you something. And if your plan fails, sit back, regroup, and always think of another one. Backup plans.
You create has an echo. Your own bad energy will be your undoing.
Now your next course of action, after you figure out how to be patient and figuring out how to form a game plan, your next course of action is to literally figure out your playing style. Are you defensive? Are you offensive? If you're offensive, you're going to be more on the attack. If you're defensive, you're going to be more counter-like. You're not going to be running away from him. That's boring. That's not even fun to play against. That's cheap also, to just wait for the timer to run out. You want to be more counter-like. You want to run more counters mostly. You want to block a little bit. Remember, blocking is a thing for you defensive people. And offensive people too, blocking is a thing. It can save your life. It minimizes damage, although in this game it minimizes stamina as well. But be wary, blocking is a thing, and it can save you, especially perfect blocking. It takes some stamina away from your opponent too. Offensive and defensive. If you're offensive, you're going to find yourself on the attack most of the time, and if you're defensive, you're going to find yourself on the defensive most of the time. And that doesn't really mean you're going to be running away, as I said before. You're just going to be countering more, and you're going to be more patient with him. You're going to be like dancing around him, see what he's going to do, and then you're going to strike after he lets his guard down. You know, you're not going to be running the whole game. That's boring, like I said before. So just experiment with those playing styles and figure out which one is yours. And you just want to see how you can make your own little adjustments to it to make it unique to yourself. That's all there is to it really in fighting. Just make your own style, defensive or offensive, and make it your own. You know. This guy. Nah, I don't do that. Come on, use the reverse. Come on. Or not. Damn it, I missed it. Beat his ass now. 5, 4, 3. What should I pick now? Oh, I know who to pick. Train me. Train me.
This is Super Saiyan Rose Goku Black.
Oh my goodness. The next one is to manipulate your opponent. Play mind games with him. Make him mad. Don't trash talk him. That's cheap. I mean, make him mad with your actions. You want to be always out of reach. You want to seem like you're closer than you are. Back up more. Dance around him. Make him mad, like I'm doing here. You see this? Look what I'm about to start doing. This is really stupid. I know. It's really, really stupid. But right here, I'm like, I'm just doing this to have fun, but mostly it's a subconscious little thing to make your opponent mad. It frustrates him when he can't hit you, when he can't reach you, and really, it just ticks him off. And the more frustrated he is, needless to say, the less he starts thinking rationally. The less he starts thinking rationally, again, needless to say, the less he performs well in an actual fight and in a fighting game.
Oh. Why would he do that?
See what I mean? He uses Limit Burst for no reason other than to try and attack me and do as much damage as possible. You see, I really don't understand what about it, what about being out of reach makes your opponent so mad. Maybe because he can't hit you. But it really does make him mad. And you can capitalize on making him mad by just staying out of reach, trying to like make yourself appear closer, and then get just out of dodge when he tries to hit you. It really makes your opponent mad when they can't hit you. It makes me mad when I can't hit somebody.
Ooh, I like that. Wow.
The fourth tip is to find your main. Your main, or your mains. You have to find your mains, or your main. Find 3 characters at minimum that you are perfectly fine with, and improve on those characters. And if you want to be good at a character, go into training mode or whatever in any fighting game, you know, not just Dragon Ball Universe 2. It can be any fighting game, that's what these tips are for. All fighting games, right? Just find your mains, or 3 main characters that you really play well. Maybe 4, 5. The more the better. And get used to those characters, get used to their timing, get used to their attacks, get used to how fast they are, get used to everything else, get used to how much damage they do. Do all of that. Get used to every single corner of that character, and you will see instant improvement in your ability to just whip out a combo just like that with them. Think about it. If you have a character that you're really good at and you play him or her, you don't have to think as much. You don't have to like figure out her combos, her skills, what her attacks are. You don't have to do that. You can just automatically press the button and you get the drop on your opponent. The less you think, the more it's automatic, the more success you're gonna have. Trust me on this one. I know.
That's why he wanted to do that. I swear. God. He did it on purpose so that he clashed me. And he killed me because I was trying to be nice to him.
The 5th tip to instantly getting better is experience. Now I know that's not really instant, and I know that I said that this is a 7-tip guide to get instantly better, but you can't beat experience, you know. The more skilled person will lose to the more experienced person. You know, because they know the game better. If you're better at the game as someone who's more skilled than you, quote unquote, you're going to know more tricks. You're going to have more tricks up your sleeve, more strategies to use against them, because you know every single corner of the game. So try and take something away from every fight you lose, every fight you win. Every time you have a fight in a fighting game, always learn something that the guy did and try and add it to your arsenal. You can learn something from every opponent. You can learn something from every teammate if you spectate in Dragon Ball Universe 2. Do that, and you'll see instant improvement in your gameplay. Tip number 6 is a real important one in my opinion. It should be practiced by everyone, and it's to not get toxic. Now I know that toxic people in fighting games is really like common, because fighting is a really stressful thing in a game because you can lose a lot, and it doesn't really help when you just keep losing. It just makes you angry. But it makes you look dumb when you get toxic, and you shouldn't do that. Even if the person is a spammer, you shouldn't even be texting them, telling them mean things. I mean, you can tell them, why are you spamming? You can't win without spamming because it's competitive and it makes them want to try. You know, it's not fun to be toxic for anyone. It makes you look like a dick. It makes you look dumb, honestly, in my opinion. So you shouldn't be getting toxic and telling people off. You should more like encourage them to try and do things your way, manipulate them into doing things your way, and turn the tides in your favor. Which leads me to tip number 7. Tip number 7 is to look for patterns. Study your opponent more like it. The more you study your opponent, the more you figure out how to study your opponent and get better at studying your opponent, the more success you're going to have, because you're going to see what they like to do, when they like to do it, and how they do it. And the more you observe these little things, the more you figure out your opponent and the more they become easier to beat. The more you figure out their playstyle, the more you're able to adapt and counter. And that is all I really have to say here. Those were the 7 tips to instantly become a better fighter, except one of them is not instant and takes a little bit of time, but you know what I mean. If you apply the other 6 tips along with getting experience and learning something from every fight, you're guaranteed you're going to see more improvement in your gameplay. And you're going to have a hell of a good time because you're not going to be toxic all the time, telling people things I'd rather not say. But if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.
We lose. Our friends and families die for nothing. Is that what you want? To go out like helpless victims just so you can keep nursing your foolish pride?